Hey guys, Tamago here. So, one of the tricky things about a career like mine is that it's kind of obvious to everyone how well you are doing at your job. There are literally public numerical values which strongly correlate to the level of success you're currently having. And so when your channel isn't doing particularly well, it doesn't only suck because you're not hitting your goals, but it also sucks because everyone and anyone can see that you're not hitting your goals, as opposed to the majority of jobs where things might not be going so well, but most people, aside from maybe your managers, bosses, and, the people close to you that you kind of lament with over a beer or whatever, wouldn't be any the wiser, right? This is all to say that right now my channel is in a lull as far as viewership is concerned. The videos I've posted this year are averaging around the 15 to 25,000 view mark. And there's a lot of variation with some videos not even hitting the 10K mark. We can kind of see that. We have some videos, 11K on this one, 25K on this one, 5K, 8K, it's like, it goes up and down. We obviously did have a kind of standout success with this video, but on average, we're about that 15 to 25K view mark. Now, before I continue, I would be remiss if I didn't point out that there was, once upon a time on my channel where reaching even 15,000 views on a video would have been incredible to me. It would have been mind-blowing, an absolute dream. So know that that is not lost on me. It's similar to how I'm sure if Mr. Beast posted a video that only got 10 million views, he would be finding the nearest cliff to jump over, despite if that was the case for me, that would be my most successful video ever, right? So there is an element of kind of getting used to what you've gotten in the past associated with this. That said, I have aspirations for my videos to perform better than they are now. And as well as that, I have had periods on the channel where my videos did perform better, and I actually did a little bit of maths. I took the videos I made in each year, correlated them to how many views those videos got within that year that they were posted. And I was able to average out how many views I got per, video for each year. So in 2020, I was averaging around 200K views per video. And if we take a look at the videos I was posting in 2020, we have these ones. So you have the Flash Games video, some episodes of the Neopets Experience, talking about video game delays, and the Tester Season 1 pretty much ended the year there. In 2019, I was averaging about 250,000 views per video. In 2018, my best year ever, I was averaging around 405,000 views per video on average. And I mean, a lot of these videos have gone on to be hugely successful even following 2018. The Bargain Hunt, the second Club Penguin Island video. We have all of the Simpsons trilogy videos, including this Let's Play as well. So yeah, 2018 was a great year for the channel. And even if we look at last year, where there was still a dip, I was still averaging around 66,000 views per video. So even with the, dip in viewership, it was still better than what I'm seeing these days, right? So I can recognize that things are not what they used to be on the channel. Now, with all that said, this video isn't really here for me to vent and complain. That's not what it is at all. Instead, it's serving as a kind of timestamp because I'm fairly confident that I will be able to get the channel to a better, position again, and I think recording the times where things aren't going so rosy is important. We tend to value, and I do have my notes. If you see me looking at the side, it's because I'm looking at my notes, yeah? It's going to be a pretty quick video, but we tend to value the perspectives of those we perceive as successful more than others, which is understandable. If you are trying to do something, you would rather hear from someone who has done it than someone who hasn't been able to do it. But I think it's important to remember that everyone who has reached a successful, status in whatever they're trying to do, music, making video games, making videos, academics, this, that, and the other, right? They had a period before that success, which could be just as valuable to draw from. Now, in my case, my channel has already actually had multiple like successes and peaks, right? 2018 was, great year for the channel. Numbers wise, probably the best year ever. 2022 and 2023 were actually also quite good years because of the possible quiz videos. So actually in those years, despite the lower overall uploads, I think in 2022, in fact, I can check real quick right now. 2022, I uploaded 8 videos. 2023, I uploaded 5 videos compared to the surrounding years where they're all 10 plus videos, even into the 20s. So yeah, and in 2022, I got around 310,000 views per video on average because of how well the Possible Quiz 1 did. And then 281,000 views on average in 2023 because of how well the Possible Quiz 2 did. So those videos really are anomalies as far as average views are concerned, right? And I just see that as part of the hills and valleys of this career. A lot of people talk about this idea of the YouTuber life cycle, and I've heard a lot of people quote a number around the 5-year mark. They're like, you get 5 years and then that's pretty much it. I've been making videos for like 15 years. I've been doing it full time for 8 years. So in a way, I am bucking the curve in that I still do this. So, my belief is that even though things are not looking so great, there will be that part where it peaks again. Because I have had that, 2017, 2018, 2019 is when my channel really took off. And then, 2021, 22, it really started to go down. But then the Possible Quiz came and it started to go up again. So I really think this is just part of the natural motion of this sort of career. And when people talk about the life cycle of a YouTuber, right? YouTube is so new that we can't really know for sure what that is yet. A lot of people who have quit YouTube, it's also partly been down to them just not being as interested and having the passion and the drive for it anymore. Whereas I still have that in droves, I'm more passionate about it than ever. And so I think that's got to count for something, and it will contribute to me being able to pick things up again. And yeah, I just see it as my job, as part of doing this for a living. I see it as my job to ride these waves and try my best to adapt while still maintaining the core essence of what I'm trying to do with my work, right? And what that is essentially I'm trying to provide entertainment that feels as though it exists within the same reality as my audience. A lot of people say that they're trying to provide escapism with their stuff. I'm actually not really trying to do that. I instead am trying to be like, hey, listen, yeah, we live in this freaking crazy world. Mad stuff happens all the time, but funny stuff happens as well. And there's an interesting perspective on this, and we can enjoy that without pretending like we're in some alternate universe. We can be here and have a fun time regardless. You know what I mean? That's more so because for me, I actually enjoy entertainment rooted in reality more so than entertainment that's trying to transport me somewhere else, because it feels more real to me. And that's what I try to do with my stuff, with my gaming videos. I don't try and do these over the top reactions. I'm not trying to exaggerate anything. I'm trying to keep it grounded, and provide hopefully funny commentary with my, commentary videos where I talk about actual things, and hopefully I'm able to present it in a way that is entertaining, engaging, maybe even educational to a certain extent as well. And, storytelling videos as well. Just the general storytelling. I feel like all of these things are things that allow us to remain within reality, but have fun with it at the same time, rather than just being a way to escape from the world. We live in the world, and I want to feel like a creator that lives in the world with you, rather than some external thing. I want it to always feel like you could come across me in the park or whatever and be like, oh yeah, that's Tamago, that's Simi, whatever. You know what I mean? That sort of vibe. That's what I'm trying to do. So, you have to adapt. One of the adaptations I'm making is, and I've talked about this previously in members stuff and even on streams, YouTube, as much as I would like to think people find the stuff they want to watch based on how good it is, that's not how it works. People watch stuff based on whether or not it gets shown to them on their homepage on YouTube and in the suggested feed, and based on how enticed they are by the thumbnail and title. that is pretty much key. If your video doesn't show up in the homepage, your video doesn't exist. It doesn't matter how good the video is. I saw a series of videos which were analysis of the TV series Better Call Saul, and it was an analysis of the portrayal of poverty, specifically through the character Kim Wexler on the show. And it was like 5-part series, and it was absolutely fantastic. Maybe the best analysis of Better Call Saul that I have seen on YouTube and in general, you know, reading articles and I just dropped my water bottle. Each episode had under 100 views. I am not joking. Each episode of this series had less than 100 views. The only reason I found this series is because I was watching, I think The Take, like a more popular channel, do a breakdown of Better Call Saul, because I just recently finished rewatching some episodes of the series, actually many episodes of the series. And then I was like, oh, I want to see this analysis. And then in the comments, someone was like, oh, this person did a really cool analysis and breakdown of the show. So then I typed their username into YouTube and I found them, and the episode, it was like 80 views, literally 80 views. And the reason it didn't get views is because the thumbnails and titles weren't actually proper thumbnails. They were just frames from the videos and they weren't interesting at all, right? And yet the analysis was so good that had they just packaged the video better, no doubt it would have gotten at least tens of thousands of views, you know, not to speak of not even reaching 100. And now I've talked about it and I've talked so highly about it, I'm definitely going to link to it in the description in case anyone does watch Better Call Saul and wants to see. But yeah, you know, that was a reinforcement to me that as much as I would like to be one of those channels that can just upload whatever and put hardly any effort into the title and thumbnail, you know, you have your video game donkeys, you have your like criticals, you know, there are people who can get away with that. But even these days, we're starting to see their views drop because the competition on YouTube is just getting more and more fierce. And now we're not even competing with just other human beings and production houses. Now we're competing with AI, dude, which is insane. And people do watch AI videos. As much as I turn my nose up at them, these videos get hundreds of thousands, millions of views, and they are competition. So you really can't turn your nose up at the importance of a good thumbnail, a good title, and tweaking it as it goes. So, you know, I have access to YouTube's A/B testing feature for thumbnails and titles, which they recently introduced. So I've just been making use of that. And I know as a viewer, it can be annoying to see a YouTuber change their thumbnails and titles all the time. It looks kind of desperate, to be honest. Like, I definitely know that. But it's the game. The Possible quiz only made it as popular as it did because I changed the title and thumbnail. 2 weeks after it had been uploaded, the video had, I think, around 40 to 50,000 views. I changed the title and thumbnail. It shot up to 500,000 views by like the next week. You know what I mean? So it does matter. As annoying as it is, it does matter. If people don't click on the video, they don't watch it. And so that's one thing I'm taking very seriously. And part of the reason I'm taking that very seriously as well is because of the second point, which is that I am working with a small group of editors who help me do the first drafts of the videos so that I can take them over, add all the, you know, cool effects and memes and, you know, really make it one of my own. But they help me get it started so that I can make the videos in a bit of a shorter time, but also just have that extra support when it comes to making them. You know, they add their edits, I add mine, and the total is greater than the sum of its parts in a way. And the reason that's related to the first thing is because I know I'm collaborating with others on these projects, the better the video does, the better it is for them as well, because they get a revenue share of the video's revenue. And so it's like, okay, I'm even more incentivized to have these videos do well after they've been uploaded because it'll benefit those collaborators as well. So this is all part of what I'm trying to do here. You know, and I'm working really hard on it. You know, I'm really focused. I know what I'm trying to do. And a part of me believes, right, that if you work really hard on something that you're good at and passionate about for a long enough time, then things will work out eventually. A part of me believes that. I don't know if that's true. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's not true, because for every successful or famous person out there, every successful musician, every successful businessman, every successful actor, right? Or actress or whatever, there are many more equally as talented people who just didn't have the opportunities, or who just weren't in the right room and in the right place in the right place at the right time, who didn't know the right people, or who just were unlucky in some other way. I mean, you can't underestimate the importance of having solid mental health, physical health, and just other privileges we take for advantage all the time that can contribute to whether someone who's talented can actually succeed with those talents. So, I know that it's not as simple as if you work hard and you're passionate for a long enough time, it'll work out. But I think with things I've got set up, I think I can pull it off. I really think I can do it. I think I can get to that next peak, which will inevitably be followed by a valley. And then I start climbing to the next peak again. I feel like this sine curve is the nature of working in a creative field, but just trying to do anything that's difficult. Because trying to succeed as an online creator is difficult, even without the huge amount of competition there is these days. I see a lot of people say, oh man, YouTube, imagine if I started 10 years ago, how much easier it would have been. So we're talking about 2015 then, right? Dude, I remember in 2012 watching videos about how to grow your channel and people saying, man, if only I started in 2008. Like, that idea of it would have been better if I started earlier has been here since the beginning, dude. People in 2012 were saying it's too late. And now you have people now saying, damn, if I started in 2015, 3 years after some of those people felt it was too late. I just find that so funny, and it always keeps things in perspective for me. This idea that it's too late, it's like, nah, man, I don't subscribe to that. You know what I mean? But yeah, the hills and valleys, it's just the nature of the path I've chosen, and I'm going to walk that path. And I wanted to do this video to bookmark that, because it's easy for someone to see someone that has a level of success and kind of assume that that's how it's always been. But I think it's worth remembering, like, no, dude, like, people start from somewhere. There's a time where they're doing a lot of work that you're not seeing before they get to a point where everyone knows them or whatever. And for me, my goal isn't really for everyone to know me. It's more so just to make this as sustainable as possible, and just have it continue to be a good career, because I have enjoyed doing this so much, and I want nothing more than to be able to continue doing this, essentially. And on that note, I really appreciate your support. The vast majority of people do not become members. Of course not. Life is expensive. So many things are subscriptions nowadays. I knew we were cooked when freaking razors were a subscription, like Dollar Shave Club, which I did get actually one time before I decided I wasn't going to use razors anymore and just stick to like electric shaving and keeping the beard. But yeah, I knew we were cooked when those became a subscription, bro. And yeah, there are also just more pressing causes in the world to put one's money towards if they have money to spare, right? Than, funding a creator trying to make entertaining videos on the internet. So I don't lament anyone who sees paying for a membership of mine as too frivolous for them, which is why I have a massive appreciation to those who do actually contribute, regardless of how long it's for. It's not lost on me how significant a step it is for someone to take. I support a lot of creators on Patreon and some on YouTube memberships if they don't have a Patreon, because beyond me being a creator myself, I love watching creators and I want to support what they do, and I know it's the best way to do that. And so when people do that for me, I really understand that it's not a small thing. You know what I mean? So I want to say thank you for that. Thank you. And yeah, we'll see what happens, right? Maybe the channel will start doing extraordinarily well. Maybe it'll stay much the same. Maybe it'll start doing worse. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. I just know what actions I'm personally going to take, and I hope for the best, right? I'm going to be working really hard on the channel. And I hope you're going to enjoy the videos. You know, that's my ultimate goal. I want you guys to enjoy this stuff. And I want you to enjoy the community we foster around it as well. So thank you for your support. Thanks for being along for the ride. And let's see how it turns out together. I appreciate you. In a bit. Peace.